Hello everyone. So in this video, we will be exploring the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens, and I decided to visit on a Tuesday afternoon. So keep in mind it is during the summer, so there were lots of families, especially mothers with their children, and it was definitely more packed than I expected. So I'm going to get started with the cost of the zoo. So basically, if you want to do everything, which is the total experience, it costs $35.95. If you're an adult, and for kids, it's $28.95. So the total experience includes admission, as well as a 4D theater, unlimited train rides, unlimited carousel rides, animal feedings, and colossal creatures. For general admission, it cost only $24.95 for adults or $19.95 for kids. And as you can see, there are lots of exhibits to see and lots of places to go to in this particular zoo. The zoo has 100 acres of exhibits and gardens. They give a portion of all their proceeds towards protecting animals and plants all over the world. The Jacksonville Zoo is only one of 7 zoos in the United States with an animal wellness team. There are more than 2,000 animals and 1,000 varieties of plants. So they definitely have areas where you can, view animals, and areas where you can also feel like you're in a garden. That's why it's called the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens. And you'll see some of that momentarily. Okay, so in here, I started filming some of the amphibians, and I guess because of the time of day or because it was summer, I felt like a lot of them were more active than normal, and that was really cool to see. Lots of these, snakes just slithering around, and maybe they were getting fed, because I saw like lots of crickets in one of the tanks. So that was really interesting to see while I was there. And again, because it was in the afternoon in June, it was pretty hot. So these exhibits, I felt like really took away from they really made me feel like it was less hot because they were in the AC. Okay, now we move on to the gecko. He was hanging out on top of the tank and he was just chilling. And next you will see it looks like a python. But I didn't record the actual bit of that. So this is the elephants, and this part was out in the open. It was pretty hot around here, but still, I love watching the elephants, and I definitely found this to be relaxing. So there was a place where you can view them in the shade, but there was a large group of people already in there, so I decided just to walk in that corner and then just get footage and then leave. But there's definitely places where you can take a break and rest in the shade. Okay, so I do really enjoy the plant aspect of the zoo, because there is lots of beautiful plants that you don't see anywhere else. And sometimes you'll be walking and you'll suddenly get this whiff of this really good, sweet smelling plant. And that happened a few times when I was at the zoo, and I couldn't identify where it was coming from, but it did smell very sweet and very, very fragrant. The zoo also has lots of aviaries that you can enjoy. So this one was enclosed, but they have several that you can go into and, interact with the birds a lot closer. So the Wild Florida exhibit is definitely one of my favorites because it shows you all of the animals native to Florida, and it's a rather large exhibit. So the first part, or after you see the crocodiles, you'll go into the amphibians exhibit, which is right to your left. And and I was the only one in there, so that was cool. I got to record everything, and I had the whole place to myself. So I definitely wanted to record more in here and take advantage of the AC. So not only do they have snakes and turtles, but they have other cool creatures in here too that need to be in tanks. So they had frogs, lots of different turtles, lots of different snakes, because Florida has tons of turtles and snakes as well. So he was very cute. He wanted to interact, and that was a pretty big tank for those animals. And again, poisonous snakes. So it's good if you're not familiar, if you're from the area and you're not familiar with what types of snakes are around here, which ones are poisonous or not, you can go ahead and take time to read all of the information to educate yourself and to find out, which ones are dangerous and which ones are okay to interact with. And here's a cute little frog or toad. It was probably a toad. Okay, and I couldn't see what was in that particular exhibit. But here we have some really, really big lizards. And these are native to Florida, which is interesting. So I didn't record what their names were. And I actually didn't catch it either. Okay, so we have some box turtles. And these are just on the outside of that indoor exhibit. So now we're going to make our way around the Wild Florida exhibit where you can see bears that are native to Florida, as well as wolves, coyotes, and manatees. And unfortunately, today I did not see the black bear, but I know he was in there because I saw him last time. He was playing with something. I think it was a barrel, and he was dragging it around. But I couldn't see him today, but he was definitely there. I think they have 2 bears. You might be able to see him lounging out somewhere. But it was a hot day. He probably wanted to stay in the shade. And as you walk on down, you will come across the manatee exhibit where they help revitalize injured manatees that have been hurt by boats. So in this tank, there were several manatees, and they have several big tanks as well to help, bring them back to health. And as I was there, I kept hearing coyotes chirping and making all these little barking sounds. So I moved a little bit further down, and you can see the little coyotes that were just going at it. And they were barking and barking and barking. They were really loud. I heard them from the other side of this whole exhibit. I had to walk down before I found out what was making that noise. Oh, they're coyotes. It's a little coyote and he keeps yapping. I unmuted the clip so you guys could hear them. But they were really cute. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the Florida exhibit, and it's nice because it loops back around from where you started. After that, you're going to go back on the main trail, and there you will see this garden area that has beautiful lilies and a pond, and they have statues of elephants. And in the very, very back, there's the giraffe exhibit. So they were feeding the giraffes, and one of the giraffes was in the front and was getting fed. But there were lots of kids lined up waiting to feed the giraffes. So I took advantage of just getting close and recording the fact that they were up so close and interacting with people, which you don't usually see every day when you go to the zoo because you have to kind of check the time. And I just got lucky because I didn't actually check the times in advance. I just happened to walk up and see that there was lots of people lined up, and the zookeeper was giving out some leaves for the kids to feed them. And you can see his tongue is really long, so he's stretching out there to reach it. Like, that's why they have those tall necks, so they can reach the tall branches and leaves at the top of the trees. Okay, and the other ones were just hanging out and trying to stay cool under the palm trees. And there was a smaller little giraffe up in the front. Okay, so they have different parts of this zoo at different regions of the world where you'll know more or less what animals to expect. So this was the African forest, and there were lots of monkeys in here, chimpanzees and smaller monkeys. They made this cool exhibit, from the tree. So I really liked how they could run around. I didn't see any, being that active, but I've seen some in other zoos. They do when they're energetic, or when it's like in the morning or whatever time they start to act up or whatever. They definitely utilize those exhibits and run around and jump and swing, and it's fun to watch them. I have another clip from the Gladys Porter Zoo where those spider monkeys are doing just that. Okay, so this ape and her baby chimpanzee or whatever, they were just chilling, and they seemed pretty relaxed. Okay, so this is where you can see the jaguar. I did see the female jaguar the last time I went to the Jacksonville Zoo. She was behind this exhibit here, but I did not go up today to see her because there was a lot of people over there, and I just wanted to, go to other parts of the zoo that I missed the last time I went. Okay, so inside this exhibit, I did get to see the otters a lot closer than I did last time. Last time there was 3 of them, and they just kept running around, and you couldn't really get a good look at them because they have a pretty big exhibit. I mean, theirs is open and it loops, pretty far around, and it was hard to see them in one given place because I remember there was groups of people following them last time, and you would see them for a second, but as soon as you got there, they would take off running somewhere else. So this one, it was cool to see him just swimming there alone, and it looked like he was having fun. Okay, so after this, you loop around, and this is towards the back part of the zoo. So, I mean, if you've made it here, you've pretty much walked pretty far by this point. Okay, so again, there are places you can take breaks inside. This is the amphibian exhibit, and there were lots of frogs here. I think they were going to recreate it because it said this part was open now, so we have some salamanders. This part was open, but they were working on renovating it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you can go and check out the Jacksonville Zoo.